They were 9 outs away from a championship, 9 quiet, trembling outs that now live rent-free in the collective memory of a city. And what followed was not reflection, not restraint, but aggression. Toronto did not exhale after October. Toronto leaned forward. Because when you come that close to touching history and feel it slip through your fingers, the response isn't patience. It's urgency. Welcome back to the Bluejays Report, where moments like these aren't just analyzed, they are felt. On one side of this story stands Vladimir Guerrero Jr., no longer just the face of the franchise, but the spine of it. This is officially his team now, stamped and sealed by a $500 million commitment that carries far more weight than numbers on a contract. The mindset is unapologetic. If it's in the zone, it's getting punished. That isn't bravado. That's ownership. And when a superstar speaks that plainly, the clubhouse listens differently. On the other side is a figure who feels almost mythological at this point. Max Scherzer, 41 years old, future Hall of Famer, returning on a deal that reads like a dare. Inning-based bonuses, escalating pressure, every appearance a test of whether fire still lives in the arm. It's a contract that doesn't pretend. It says, prove it. Prove it when the lights are brightest. And somehow, in the middle of all this, another possibility floats into view like a shadow on the wall. The idea of a trade for a former Cy Young winner that could reshape the rotation before opening day even arrives. So the question isn't simple. Are the Toronto Blue Jays building the strongest possible version of this roster after nearly winning it all? Or are they reacting to October trauma and trying to bulletproof every single detail? Because this isn't a normal February. This is the behavior of a team that understands exactly how rare that window is. You went to Game 7 of the World Series. You were 9 outs from immortality. And you still woke up thinking it wasn't enough. That is the standard now. Between October 4th and November 1st of 2025, one name explained why this window is still wide open. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. didn't just perform in the postseason. He escaped gravity. Over 18 games, he hit .397 with a .494 on-base percentage, a .795 slugging, and a 1.289 OPS. 8 home runs, 15 RBIs, 14 walks, 7 strikeouts. 7. That isn't a hot streak. That's a declaration. What made it more fascinating was how calmly he explained it later. On MLB Network, reflecting during spring training, he said he knew pitchers would try to avoid him. He knew the plan was not to challenge him. So his mindset was simple. If it's in the zone, I'm going to punish it. Every at-bat had one objective. Do damage. In the regular season, you read the room. You move runners. You play the margins. October doesn't care about margins. October cares about impact. And Guerrero embraced that truth fully. Now hold on to this, because it changes the emotional landscape entirely. 2026 is the first season without Bo Bichette beside him every single day. That absence isn't just tactical. It's emotional. For years, Blue Jays baseball was spoken in pairs. Now the 14-year, $500 million extension is active, and leadership isn't theoretical anymore. Manager John Schneider has already said he expects a more vocal Guerrero, a more present one. But leadership isn't speeches. Leadership is production, night after night, when the body is tired and the calendar is long. Can playoff mentality survive 162 games? That's the real debate. Nobody expects Guerrero to hit .397 all season. That's fantasy. But the approach can stay. And if he gives even 80% of what he showed in October, this lineup remains one of the most intimidating in the American League. But baseball isn't just about lineups, and Toronto learned that the hard way. The loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series wasn't about talent gaps. It was about details. And in October, details become obsessions. The front office attacked the rotation early. Dylan Cease arrived on a long-term deal, not as depth, but as intent. Cody Ponce was added quietly, the kind of move that doesn't trend but matters in August. And still, the phone calls didn't stop. There was interest in Framber Valdez before he signed elsewhere. That alone tells you everything. If you've already added Cease and you're still checking in on another elite arm, you're not aiming to compete. You're aiming to match whoever is on the other side of the bracket. Now the name hovering is Sandy Alcantara of the Miami Marlins, a former National League Cy Young winner. Alcantara returned from Tommy John surgery last season, and the beginning was rough, because it always is. Rhythm has to be relearned. Confidence rebuilt. But as the year went on, flashes appeared. Miami has already reshuffled young arms. When that happens, nothing is sacred. Bleacher Report suggested Toronto should consider that trade before opening day. Honest question. Do you pay that price? Because it won't be cheap. A former Cy Young winner, still relatively young, under control, even coming off surgery, commands real assets. But imagine that rotation healthy in October. Cease. Kevin Gausman. Jose Berrios. Trey Yancey entering his first full season. Ponce as the wild card. Add Alcantara to that mix and the ceiling rises noticeably. But stop there, because complexity lives underneath. Scherzer is back. 1 year. $3 million guaranteed. Up to $10 million with incentives tied directly to innings. 65 starts the clock, then every 10 innings adds pressure. It's a contract that admits fragility. And 2025 wasn't smooth. A 5.19 ERA over 85 innings. The first time in his career allowing more than 5 runs per 9. Home runs found him more often. At 41, the fastball averaged 93.6 miles per hour, respectable, but the chase rate dropped. When hitters stop biting, the margin disappears. October, though, told a different story. Left off the Division Series roster. Back in the ALCS. In the World Series against Los Angeles, he struggled in Game 3. In Game 7, he allowed just 1 run over 4 1/3 innings, leaving with a 3-1 lead. If the bullpen holds, that outing becomes immortal. So what do you believe? The season-long decline or the Game 7 pulse? The plan, at least initially, points to a 6-man rotation. Cease, Yancey, Berrios, Ponce, Gausman, and Scherzer, with Shane Bieber beginning the year on the injured list after postseason fatigue. It protects arms after a season that stretched into November. It makes sense. But there's a cost. A 6-man rotation squeezes the bullpen. And suddenly, long relief becomes vital. That's where Eric Lauer enters the conversation. Multiple innings. Stability. But Lauer is a future free agent who has openly said he prefers starting. He also lost an arbitration hearing and believes bullpen usage cost him money. If everyone is healthy, someone won't be happy. And now add luxury tax pressure hovering near historic levels. Every dollar above the threshold nearly doubles in impact. This isn't a video game. It's arithmetic with consequences. So what's smarter? Bet on depth and preservation, or push harder and add Alcantara to try to build a rotation that scares people before the anthem ends. Because the goal isn't 95 wins. The goal is beating whoever is in the other dugout in October. And all of this circles back to Guerrero. $500 million. A playoff mindset. The expectation of leadership. Leadership also means surviving slumps, enduring radio noise, carrying a country's expectations. Toronto isn't a quiet market when it tastes October. The entire city breathes baseball. And when it falls short, the memory lingers. There's symbolism in this moment. Guerrero elevating. Scherzer daring time to catch him. Cease anchoring. Alcantara rumors whispering. It's a front office saying, we're not letting this window close because we hesitated. But there's risk everywhere. Yancey is unproven. Ponce is unknown. Scherzer won't throw 180 innings. Bieber starts on the Illinois. One injury shifts the narrative instantly. Could the obsession with matching the Dodgers actually unbalance things? Maybe. Stack too heavily and you strain the bullpen. And October, as Toronto knows too well, is one in the 7th, 8th, and 9th as much as the 1st. So now it's your turn. Do you go all in before opening day, or trust that this group is already enough to finish the job? Like the video if this debate keeps you up at night, share it with someone still replaying Game 7 in their head, and subscribe to the Bluejays Report, because 2026 has already started, even before the first pitch is thrown.